How are we doing, guys? I'm Kevin Shaw, editor-in-chief of the Watercraft Journal. Welcome to another Sunday night live session. I know we're competing with the Super Bowl, but that doesn't matter for us. We're not interested in football. We're talking jet skis tonight. So thank you to those who decided to tune in. And for you guys who are tuning in later, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the game. I'll be catching up later. So hey, we got some fun stuff that's going on. We're going to keep this one kind of light and easy going. We don't have a whiteboard discussion, but either way, we're going to have a fun time tonight. So I just wanted to let everyone check in and say hello. We got a couple special things that are going on that I wanted to kind of do here that we normally don't do, just as a little treat for you guys who are tuning in on a quasi-American holiday. So first and foremost, as you might have noticed in my team's earlier posts and Cody's posts, that we still have just a few of the original blue jerseys left. We are not going to be reprinting these colors. We're actually going to be doing kind of a limited opportunity, limited run thing with our jerseys. Quite frankly, we didn't want to do, honestly, I'm going to say it. I don't want $4,000 worth of inventory sitting on my shelves over here. So that being said, we are going to be running these last blue jerseys out, and in the meantime, as we run these jerseys out, we are going to announce the next series of colors. And what we're going to do is that we're going to let you pick. So I thought that was going to be really cool. We're going to have more of a Kawasaki green, more of a Yamaha blue, and a red. It's going to be the same pattern, okay? So you're going to see more of a dark blue, more of a racing green, and then red. And I know Sea-Doo is typically yellow, but honestly, we looked at one of the templates for yellow, and it just washed out, and it didn't look good. And I also hate yellow. I just really do. So I kind of don't want to do bright yellow. So red, I think, was a good idea instead of yellow, because Sea-Doo's been using a lot of that, what they call dragon red, really, really rich. It almost looks like what I would call Viper red, being a Dodge guy. So what we're going to do is, on the Watercraft Journal magazine itself, we are going to be directing everyone with pictures. We're going to have all the pictures, and they're just going to be like the regular, front shot. And it'll be Cowie green, dark Yamaha blue. So it'll be more of a darker blend of this, and red. And it's going to be in the same kind of mellow pattern, nothing too crazy. And it's going to be the same material, same cut, all the neat features that we got here on this jersey, but just in these three colors. And you're going to pick the winner, and that will be the next color that we do. And when we run out of these light blue and we run out of the reds, then we're going to move on to the next color, and we'll add a third one on there, and there'll always be a rotation of three. So that is going to be what we kind of want to do this year. Now, if we are successful and you guys like the jerseys and you want to have, different colors and different mixes. Oh, I left something out. Because we sold out of extra large so fast, we're going to kind of pull from some of the, I think double X, we're still or like triple X, we're still sitting on a lot more triple X than we thought. So we're going to take a lot of that number and bump it towards XL, so we won't run out of extra large like we ran out of extra large in this blue. So hopefully that helps, because we won't be printing more XLs of this shirt. So that is going to be, what size shirt do I wear? This is XL. I wear an XL. And it's still pretty loose for an XL. You see the room and I mean, there's my armpit, and it still has plenty of room, and it opens up. So that's awesome. Thank you, TX. That's really cool. I'm stoked with how comfortable they are and how you guys are like, these are really comfortable. Like, this is an enjoyable jersey. It's not, it's not too loose. So that one of the biggest complaints I had was I saw jerseys where the sleeves were like this, like really long. And the problem with these sleeves, thankfully, they're not tight. I don't wear watches. I don't wear bracelets. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I don't like things on my wrist. But these are tight enough on the wrist so that when you're writing, they don't slide up your arm. And I've seen that with a lot of different guys, a lot of different jerseys. I've seen that they just go whoop, and they go right up the arm. And these don't do it. And so I actually, not to toot our own horn, but I really am very happy with these. So hopefully you guys are too. We're really tickled with it. But we're going to let all of you guys decide what our new colors are. And I thought, I'm like, it was funny because I was talking to Robert at Windrider, the president of Windrider, and he goes, "Hey, listen, man, we love doing these jerseys with you, and we love working with you. But that's if you were to print all 4 colors at once and have them sitting on a shelf," he goes, "you'd be in this for about $4,000 worth of inventory." And I'm like, I don't think we need all that. So, all that being said, is it's a proprietary material, Cuban Boy, because quite frankly, I don't want people going to our suppliers and going around us and making their own. So it's a very breathable, lightweight UV protecting or UV screen material. And it does exactly a sports ball fan. I learned how to throw a football when I was 20. All right. My dad taught me to weld when I was 14. He didn't teach me how to catch a baseball. He taught me how to operate a forklift. So different families, man. But all that being said, we wanted to kind of put it in your guys' hands. That way, if everyone goes, I want red, or I want dark blue, or I want green, those are the choices we're going to be doing. If there's demand for a yellow, I'll never wear one because a redhead wearing yellow just looks like Ronald McDonald, and I know better. I'll take the hit. But all that being said, and by the way, Cuban Boy, they are machine washable. I have heard guys say that you can dry them, but I always hang them out. So I pull them once they're washed. I put it on a hanger and hang them up. But most guys will machine wash them just fine. And everyone, Billy's here, so let's say hi to Billy. We got Billy Duplessis in the house. I know we had a couple guys complaining that I was yelling too hard, yelling too loud, and blowing out their eardrums because they're wearing earbuds, or that they're trying to watch this at work, and all of a sudden they hear me yell, "Billy's here." So I'll be a little considerate. Like, hey, listen, man, I'm cool with Billy coming in and everyone getting stoked, welcoming Billy. But they're like, bro, I'm getting caught at work. So anyway, hot pink for ladies. We actually might do purple because of the Sea-Doos. I think it's a little late for us to do purple, but I still want to do something that's a little bit more. The problem is that if we do a run, we're not going to be selling a lot of XLs, a lot of XLs, a lot of larges. We do go down to a true small, and so that small and that medium, even a large, is for different sizes of women. We've been pretty good with the responses on those. But again, our audience is like 94% male. So all that being said, we kind of need to cater to our mainstream audience. Okay, so let me cross that off. We got jerseys, remaining jerseys with new colors, and everyone's going to pick the colors. Very cool. Now Number 2, I got 2 really cool things that we're going to do before we even get into tonight's topic. And I thought it would be something kind of fun. Is we are nearing our goal of 20,000 subscribers. And as I promised, for our 20,000 subscribers, we were going to give away a Slippery Life Vest. We're going to give away jerseys. We're going to give away T-shirts. We've got prizes for 20 people. The grand prize, which is a random picked person, a subscriber, whether you're our first subscriber or our 20,000 subscriber, you're in the mix as long as you live in the lower 48 states. Unfortunately, for our international friends, because of the cost of shipping and because of inflation and the shipping charges and everything involved with that, we'll be sending you stickers and some other prizes. I'm working on gift cards for people. I'm working on some other really cool stuff. But all that being said, for our subscribers in the lower 48 states, once we hit 20,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving out like a week's worth of prizes. But since we are only like a hair above 100, I thought I would tease you guys with a 19,000 subscriber prize. And we're only like 112 people away from that. And we could effectively get that in the next couple days. We could literally be giving a prize out next Sunday. And I want to do a live unboxing of what that prize is going to be. All right? So we're going to open up the prize that we're going to give out the minute that, or the Sunday after we hit 19,000 subscribers. All right? So I'm taking my little pocket knife, my little letter opener knife here. All right? This is from one of our advertisers. Most all of our prizes are from our advertisers who support the Watercraft Journal. All right. And it is a brand new OG Sand Docker. All right. With a whole bunch of stickers. He threw a bunch of stickers in. Very cool. All right. So here is the original Sand Docker. And I'll put this right in front of the camera. All right. But let's show you what it comes with. It comes with its own little mounting brackets. All right. I think these are 3D printed. They look like they're 3D printed material. But double-sided tape. You can mount this on the inside of your storage bin. If you have an ST3, you can mount it to the floor of your ST3. You can put it in the front bin of your Yamaha. You got a lot of room to put this in. You can adjust it, accordingly. This is Velcro. All you do, you guys can't really see. You can't see the table, but you can just, I'll move my mouse. So you can peel the tape off, mount it. Mounts it this way. Pull the Velcro back. So now it's open. Take your Sand Docker. There it goes. Well, you probably want to do it sideways. Do it sideways. Don't do what I'm doing. Here we go. And now it's mounted. All right. So let me show you what you got with a Sand Docker. First, the pipe itself is a nice soft edge. I'm running my finger through the edge, so it's a nice beveled edge. It's not going to cut your hand. I will run my face on this to show you that it's not cutting you. All right. I've seen machined surfaces that come out with razor sharp edges, and I literally ran this across my face. I don't know what more to show you. Okay, I could bring one of my daughters down and rub it across her face. It's not going to hurt her. But it's a nice machined aluminum that is beautifully TIG welded. Got a nice TIG bead going all the way around. Why do you have this little fun little foot that reminds me of those popsicles you used to get? The big toe. Remember, it had like a bubble gum ball. You put a stick in it. It was pink. It was a big pink foot. You guys remember that? Have an ice cream truck? Okay. But it's got grip tape right here. That's why you're looking at, see the grip tape? All right, that's for traction. So all you do, if you have your own tow line, you have your own rope, because this doesn't come with it. This is just the original anchor. This is for giveaways. You take your rope, you tie it around there, tie a knot, tie it to the front toe, the little bow eye, little toe eye in the front of the ski. You walk over, you stick it in the sand, and you step on it, and it'll step. You can literally stomp on it, and it'll go right flush. That way, when you're walking to your ski, you don't kick the damn thing and bust your toes open. You can step on this thing, and it'll be flush all the way into the sand, and boom, there you go. This is the prize that we can give, that we'll give out the minute we hit 19,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Now, how can you guys, you're thinking, hey man, I already subscribed. How can I bump the subscription numbers? How can we make this thing happen? It's real easy. Share videos. Share them. If you like any of the videos that we've produced, because I put out freaking 6 videos a week, take a video, share it on your Facebook page, or share it on Instagram, or send it to a buddy, or tell your friends, hey man, subscribe to this thing and help me win one of these free anchors. All right. What do those go for? What does that go for? I think it goes for like $60 or $65. Quality anchor. You don't have to buy it. Just get the subscription. All right. If you're a subscriber to this channel, you're already in the running. So now get your friends in there so we can get the numbers up and we can give this thing away. I want this thing out of my garage. I'm running out of room. I got more car parts for the other project cars. Ugh. I don't need more projects, but here I am getting more. Okay, so I'm really stoked about that anchor. We did a live unboxing. This, if you were to buy one, if you don't win, but you want one, this is how it shows up. Shows up in the box, bubble wrap. It comes with the CNC mounts. Okay. And it's 3M double-sided tape, so you can peel it off if you don't want it. All right. And then you get a bunch of stickers, because who doesn't love stickers? All right. So that's number one. I thought that would be kind of cool. The guys at Sandocker were like, hey, man, do you want to give one of these away? I'm like, well, what if we give it away for our 19,000? He goes, done. And then he says, well, what's happening for the 20,000? I said, well, we're actually doing a bunch of giveaway stuff. And he goes, say no more. I'll have even more for that. So we're actually pretty stoked about that. So unboxing the anchor. Okay. Now I've got something kind of fun here. A couple months ago, maybe it was like a month ago. I was in a discussion on Facebook, which I should probably stay the hell out of. It's my own fault. I was in a discussion on Facebook, and a guy was asking about Sea-Doo sponsons. And, he's like, hey, do the Riva Pro Series sponsons really make a difference? And, they're really expensive and blah, blah, blah. And let me move the mouse back. Okay. So I and Greg Gaddis and Jerry Gaddis and a couple other guys were getting involved. We were explaining stuff. And I put a hyperlink up to the big article we did a couple of years ago in regards to hydrodynamics and using computer modeling in seeing the proper design for sponsons. And a gentleman reached out, and at first he was very upset. He goes, well, you didn't test all the sponsons. I go, what do you mean I didn't test all the sponsons? He goes, well, you didn't test all the brands. And I said, for an RXPX or an RXTX? And he goes, yeah. I said, we tested Stock, Works, and Riva. Who else are we missing? And he's like, well, you're missing these guys. And I go, well, who are these guys? Well, thankfully, what had happened was we started a conversation. We started, I'm trying to cut this story short. It's long. And what had come up was that there is a group of investors one out of Thailand, where they had the King's Cup, and another gentleman out of Poland. And they've been working together on developing these really high-tech sponsons. And these high-tech sponsons currently are being used on the RxPX platform. They do bolt on to the RxTX. I have not tried them, nor have I tried them on the RxPX, but what is interesting is they put a set on Anthony Radatic's RxPX. And Anthony is sponsored by Riva. But when Anthony went to King's Cup, Riva couldn't give him all the parts possible. They had parts on his race boats here in the States, but he needed some help, and the guys from what's called PwC Art is the name of the company, and PwC Art said, we want our sponsons on your RxPX. We promise they'll win. They'll work. And he's like, okay. And so Anthony reached out to me. I was jumping the gun. Anthony reached out to me and he goes, hey, I heard you're going to try these out. And I said, yeah, how do you like them? And he goes, dude, they're pretty damn good. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, like pretty damn good. And I said, oh, like compared to Riva's, and where do you have yours set at? And he goes, well, it depends on if I'm doing offshore, it depends on if I'm doing close course. And I understood, because, you want you want a little bit of, maximum grip for close course, and you want, to ease it up for offshore and for longer courses and blah, blah, blah. So we start trading notes, and I'm talking to the guys from PwC Art, and they're like, hey, if we send you a set of these, would you try them on your RxPX and tell us what you think? And I said, well, yeah, I'd be happy to try them. My question is, you don't have a website, you don't have a name, how do I promote a product if we can't get it to you, get people to buy it? I don't want to be like, hey, check out this new cool thing, and you can't get one. Right? So he said, well, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We know it's going to take a couple months for you to try them out. So hopefully you get a chance to try them and you fall in love with them, and we'll have our website up in time, our e-commerce site up in time. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to let everyone know when they come in. I'm going to kind of, tease them. And they said, go ahead, that'll be fine. So here's what the sponson looks like. Let me turn this light on just so you guys can get a better view. First, this is cast. This thing is pretty damn hefty. So I'm like, ooh, these are heavy. But the design on these are wild. Look at the blade, all right? And then look at the contour of the blade. I'm going to hold this thing up as best as I can to the camera, all right? And I want you to think of this thing like an airplane wing. Where's the water? Here's the beginning. Water comes in underneath, and it splits. We have a straight shot. I'm trying to hold this straight, and I'm doing a terrible job. All right. It goes straight out here. See my finger wagging? Come on. There it is. All right. I'm doing a terrible job. Sorry. Then it brings pressure in. Damn it. It brings pressure in here, pulling it inboard. But then, if you look above the wing. Not only are you're mitigating lift, but then it's also splitting the blade, causing downforce like a spoiler here, and then it's an accelerating channel through there. The hydrodynamics on this sponson are blowing my mind. I have a buddy of mine. He was in the Navy for quite a few years, and he was a nuclear electrician. Smart guy. He's no dingling. And I go, what do you think of these things? And he's like, what psychopath came up with this? And I'm like, right? And he says, He goes, Kevin, he goes, my dad was an aeronautics engineer at McDonnell Douglas for years. And he says, I saw all sorts of stuff that my dad would bring home, stuff I wasn't supposed to see as a teenager. And his dad worked on the stealth fighter plane, not the stealth bomber, but on the stealth fighter plane. And was it the F-35? Is that it? Is the F-35 the stealth fighter plane? And the brand is called, here, I'll show you. All right, the brand, here's the brand name. The brand name is PWC Art. And the name of it is a race diffuser. You can't buy these anywhere. All right, this is a prototype. All right, this is basically a prototype. Oh, I got to show you the backing plates. Crap. I got to show you the backing plates. And you want to know why these are not on my Sea-Doo right now? Is because the hardware didn't show up. They're like, hey, we have specific hardware. Let me machine the hardware and send it to you. I'm like, oh, okay. I can't go to like Ace Hardware. I'm like, no. We have like real specific stuff for this. So this is totally scienced out. And I was like, all right, these things are going to be so much money. All right. So here's the backing plate. All right. And if you can see, it's beveled. So as it goes up against the hull, it's beveled in. All right. It's got adjustable slots. These are slotted. All right. So you're going to see a little bit of adjustment, not a lot. And that is it the F-117? No kidding. F-117. And maybe you're right. Okay. So these things are this is machined aluminum. These things are cast and they're powder coated, but I think they're metal. There's no way this damn thing's aluminum. This thing is a tank. I could beat a man to death with this. It is a monster. All right. Okay. Good question, Jonathan. So Kev Racing has the race diffuser. And from what they were telling me, they are going to be working with Kev Racing. That's Kevin Reiterer, and he's out of Austria. And they said, oh, no, we have a deal with Kevin Reiterer, not with me. I'm just a butthead with a magazine and a YouTube channel. But an actual really talented racer, multi-time world champion. And my understanding, I might be totally wrong, so please don't get mad because it's still amorphous right now. These are prototypes. I'm testing out a prototype. When I get prototype stuff from other manufacturers whom I can't name, they are like, don't say a damn word. I'm like, okay, 10-4. These guys were like, totally get the word out. Totally let everyone know you're going to test one. So I'm like, okay, cool. But my understanding is that these might be available on the Kev Racing website if they don't already make their own e-commerce site. I will have more information in the article on these when they're ready. Honestly, I'm super jumping the gun, guys. I'm super jumping the gun. So they're impressive. I'm impressed with just the design. All right. The problem is that I don't get a lot of really rough water on my lake. I really don't. Okay. I have to wait for a storm to come in and ride in the afternoon, like 4 in the afternoon with like 35-mile-an-hour winds to really get what you would call Pacific Ocean. And the Pacific Ocean will beat you. Anyone who's like, I've been in the Atlantic and the Atlantic's rough. I'm like, you shut your damn mouth. You shut your damn mouth and you go down to freaking La Jolla and then we'll talk rough water. So anyway, but yeah, I'm very interested in how these are going to perform. I'm very interested. I personally think these are going to be the sponsons that you can trim all the way up and still hook a corner on an RXPX. Because that's the one thing with the RXPX is that you trim it up in rough water, you're going to track through rough water. But you can't really hook a corner really hard when you're trimmed up like that on the RXPX because it needs its pivot point rotated. This, with that deep blade, with this bonkers freaking blade coming out. Okay. Now, I would say normally, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so here is, you see the holes? Okay. As you line up the holes, that is your through line. Okay, that is your horizon. Look at the blade. The blade favors down here towards the front, about a quarter of the way in, and it tapers towards the rear, and it tapers strongly towards the rear, which is what Riva does. They just step theirs. Okay, Works is a big gnarly freaking blade that just goes all the way through. Okay, that's producing that's producing a ton of drag. This isn't producing that kind of drag because of the direction of how it's manipulating the water. There's so much water manipulation happening in this design, and this is entirely speculative because I've never put these damn things on yet. I'm literally looking at it and speculating. Is that I'm looking at that going, all right, there's some design hardware that's been modeling this thing for a while. Like, there's something to this. I'm really curious about these. So I'll keep you posted on these things. When the website goes up, I'll let you know. They're not spending a dime with the Watercraft Journal. They're not. Not advertising. I have to send these back. So I'm not keeping them. I'm not selling them on eBay or anything like that. These guys aren't spending a damn dime with me. Okay. I haven't gotten a bag of cash. I haven't been given a trip to Austria or something like that. All these buttheads are like, oh, Kevin's getting greased. Okay. Yeah. I'm really rolling in it. I'm super rolling deep as I film in my home office with like my dog door in the back and my freaking flannels behind me. There's my welding flannel, the one in the middle with all the holes in it. Yeah. Woo! Look out, bro. Bunch of clowns. All right. So sponsons. Now that we're 30 minutes into this, let's talk about tonight's topic. Such a joke. All right. So, I wasn't really sure how to begin this, but if you don't already belong to a local club, this might be someone new. You might consider yourself a lone wolf. I don't need that. I think you're missing out. Now, I, by the nature of my business and having been doing this since 2006, I'm like, I think I belong to something like 24 clubs in states I haven't even been, honestly. And I got a very lovely invitation to go ride in the Land O'Lakes and Lake of the Ozarks. Come ride in the Great Lakes. So touchdown Bengals. All right, cool. Cincinnati needs this win. All right. I grew up in Southern California, and the Rams can suck it. They left us. They went to St. Louis, and now they're back. Screw you guys. All right. That's all I got to say about that. But I've been added to all these groups, and I feel terrible because I maybe go on one ride, one group ride or 2 group rides a year, and then I just kind of crash other big events. All right. So I'm kind of a prima donna in that sense. I'll just reach out to the club president and be like, hey, is it cool if I show up and bring a 2022 whoop-de-doo? And they go, oh, man, it'd be great. Oh, you're going to film it? Oh, awesome. Yeah, we're happy to have you. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me wrap my schedule around. Let me see what I can do. So when it comes to a club, like I joined the Middle Tennessee PWC club. As soon as I got here, as soon as we moved to Tennessee in 2012, I jumped right in because we started what was called Watercraft Performance, which 9 months later we changed into the Watercraft Journal. So that being said, it was a very different environment from the riders that I knew in Southern California. And the riders that I associated with in Southern California were the PWC Offshore group, the PWC Offshore team. Mark Gerner and so many amazing people. And these guys were like hardcore, but that was also because of the leadership. Gerner was a triathlete. All right. He was a retired veteran, great shape, bicyclist, swimmer, runner, ran marathons, really, really, accomplished athlete. I was not. And then we had guys like Craig Warner, who were, wasn't necessarily part of the team, but he showed up and he would ride with us occasionally. And then you would get these other guys, and it was all these hardcore Southern California riders. And I was like, man, these dudes, like, I got to elevate my game. Like, these guys are freaking legit. So we'd go out and we'd ride and we'd all break stuff and we were tearing our handlebars off and all this terrible. We were all riding Ultra 250s and, Ultra 260s. The 300 hadn't even come out yet. And I was like, dang, these guys are freaking hardcore. But it raised my game, which I liked. And I'm of the mentality that it's like, hey, dude, I want to progress. I want to elevate. I want to be better. And what was neat was we had really accomplished mechanics. We had really accomplished athletes and trainers. We had guys who were professional in other ways and other means. And I was able to socialize with this group. And I understand this is purely anecdotal. This is purely my experience, but I kind of want to segue into how this can work for you and how it's replicable. So as Gerner was pushing me to be a better rider, and I was hanging out with guys who were excellent professional riders, and I was racing professionally and had sponsors and had, people behind me who were funding a lot of that effort. I had a sense of obligation to be better and to try harder and to push harder and to be faster and be a better rider and all that kind of fun stuff. Then I also started getting in with guys who, one of them was a trainer. And so I started training with Dave, and I got in really good shape, and I got in the best shape of my life training with Dave. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then Dave's like, dude, we're going surfing. We're going to paddle out. We're going to go here. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible surfer. But I started learning from these guys. And then I started encountering people who were like, hey, what have you done? We just over dinner, we would start talking about, financial planning. And I'm all of a sudden getting advice for financial planning. And we had a baby on the way. And so I had people recommending different doctors and different offices and all this. And all of a sudden this network started to tighten up and close around me that totally benefited my life. And to this day, 16 years later, 15 years later, I'm still in contact with these people. And I'm halfway across the country, and I'm still in contact with these guys. And they become lifelong friends. And they're cheering on the Watercraft Journal, and they're cheering, they help write articles for us because, we've got like 8 people who write for us regularly. And it's totally enriched my life. And that being said, I found that many, not all, but many club presidents and club members do this for their own. And so much more of a PWC club. Everyone's like, oh, you join a PWC club and you have a monthly ride. Okay, cool. Or you might have a Christmas, you have a monthly ride and you have a Christmas party. Or they have Break the Ice winter ride, and then they've got a Christmas party ride or a Christmas actual party, or they'll have a Christmas ride, or they'll have this or they'll have that, and they'll have a full year's schedule worth of rides. And I know clubs who are like, hey, listen, you have a $10 membership fee. And it's an annual $10. And where does that $10 do? Well, that $10 pays for your club sticker, and you get a sticker for your ski, and you get a sticker for your truck, and you get a t-shirt. Oh, okay, cool. Or if you pay this fee, it goes towards a charity that at the end of the year, we partner up with a children's charity or a hospital or a Christian group or whomever it might be. And it's a charitable organization, and we do this. Oh, well, that's awful nice. That's great. Or there might be a monthly thing that they do. I've seen clubs that rallied around and help people to do a disaster cleanup, disaster response. I'll tell you what, when Katrina hit, do you know how, or in major flooding, jet ski clubs have gone down and helped to rescue pets, rescued abandoned animals, rescued people who were stranded. How many videos have we published on Watercraft Journal where it's jet skiers saving people's lives? And 9 times out of 10, it's because some people in a club said, hey, we got to mobilize and we got to help some people who are flooded out in Baton Rouge or flooded out in Mobile or flooded out wherever. And all of a sudden, here comes the news, and they're like, there's a bunch of Sea-Doos out there rescuing people. Look at these guys. And like, yeah, here's jet skiers doing good. And it's because a club president and club members made it happen, and they rallied that. I'm not joking. It was a Facebook group or a Green Hulk group or whomever, and they rallied around and they helped people. That's part of just a nugget of the caliber of people that comprise a really active, positive Facebook group, or PWC Watercraft group or club. Wow, I'm really fumbling here. That comprise a really good watercraft club. I'll edit that later. But I really can't overemphasize the camaraderie that you have, because you might show up and you're like, listen, it's just me, or my wife and I are going to ride, or I'll bring, I always bring a kid. I always bring one of my kids. Mudbug has come to know my oldest daughter. And then last year I brought my second. She's like, I want this to be my daddy-daughter trip. My oldest daughter's like, I'm going to girls camp. And she hung out with all her teenage friends. And so my 8-year-old's like, Dad, I want to go to Mudbug. Okay, great. And everyone's like, hey, all right, Natalie's hanging on. And so everyone got to meet my 8-year-old. And it's crazy because when I started going to Mudbug, my oldest was, 5? 4? No, it was 5, I think, when I took her. And that has been one of the best things in my life. You want to know why I cheer Billy every time he comes in here? He's not some rando. Billy's not some guy who just pops out of nowhere. Let me explain to you how I know Billy Duplessis and his wife, Gina. All right? First Mudbug I ever personally attended. I had been covering Mudbug since 2007 in Personal Watercraft Illustrated. Never went. In 2012, one of our advertisers was he's no longer with it, no longer advertising. Was a small he's not small. He's actually quite successful, but he has a small dealership over here by my house. But he owns 4 dealers, and it's America's Motorsports here in Middle Tennessee. And they had this 2010 or 2011 RXT 260, black, red. It's actually, I think, one of the best looking Sea-Doos. I really thought that ski was good looking, and had the X steering on it, and Ergolock wasn't Ergolock yet. And I go out to Mudbug with my oldest daughter, Morgan, and she's 5, I think. And so maybe it was 2013. I think it was 2013. And we go out there, and I don't know a soul besides Jerry. And it was one of the few Mudbugs where representatives from Yamaha had showed up, and they had a little campground that everyone kind of focused on. And I hung out. The main lake that we were on was super rough. My daughter hated it. She didn't like the sea doo. She liked going through the bayous. But we went from the Dorian's south side launch, rode past Jerry's parents' house, and then across the lake and went to this campground. And crossing the lake on Saturday morning beat the crap out of us. And the locals and the guys who had been there a bunch of times, they were all splitting on different rides and taking off. And I didn't know anything. I had no idea. And I wasn't interested in drag racing, so I was like, I'm not going to do that. So we ended up just hanging out for the whole damn day. We went on like a 30-minute ride, and I went out, and this poor girl was out there and got launched into her handlebars and split her forehead open and basically got a very mild concussion. And the woman's son kind of freaked out and was like, I don't know what to do. So I shot back to the launch ramp, and I'm like, does anyone have a first aid kit? Can anyone come and help me? Can anyone help? And they're like, oh, Kevin's having a panic attack. Kevin's freaking out. And then someone went back out with me, and she came in blood red. I'm just soaking. And she came in, and she was conscious, but they got her up on the ramp, and they administered to her, and they got some the little sutures and stitched her face together and took her to the ER. And I think she got a couple stitches. And I was like, not crying wolf, dude. Someone got hurt. And that was the end of our day. And my daughter at the hotel room Saturday night's like, Dad, I want to go home. This isn't fun. And I was so bummed. And so I go to the Greenhold page, and I kind of go, man, I hate to say this, but this sucks. This isn't fun. I'm like, I thought there was going to be rides. I thought there was going to be events. I thought there was some sort of schedule. And everyone's like, well, excuse me. A couple people were like, because it's a forum, like, screw you, dude. Who cares what you think? We got an attitude. I'm going to come off hard. Look at me. I'm so cool. Let me flex on you. Okay, great. And then a couple guys reached out and they go, hey, we're going to go out. We're going to go out Sunday morning. How long are you here? I said, well, I have the hotel till Monday morning, but I think my daughter and I are just going to go home. And they said, no, wait. Let me get a group of people together. Meet us on the other side of the levee. We'll meet you like at 9:30 in the morning. I said, okay, great. So sure enough, we had breakfast. We drive out. We launch the ski. We tie up and we wait. And one of the first people to show up was Billy and Gina, and they launched their Cowie, and they launched his red FZR. And they're like, hi, Morgan, how are you? Hey, Kevin, it's a pleasure to meet you. And they said, stick with us. You'll have a good time. And we ended up with all the Jet Blast guys. We had an absolute riot. We rode half the day and had the time of our lives. And Billy and Gina and all these people welcomed us with open arms. And it was a life-changing day for us. It was a life-changing day. And my daughter could not stop talking about going to Mudbug all summer and that next year at school. And it was because Billy and Gina and a handful of people said, hey, man, join. Why don't you come with us? And they reached out and they welcomed us and fellowshipped us on a ride. I am telling you. And I'll never miss a Mudbug unless something radical happens. This year, I'm missing June's Mudbug. The spring one, I don't know if I'll have my 22 model yet. And if I don't have it yet, I might go. I don't know. I haven't thought of it yet. but I was thinking for sure I'd do fall mud bug. Either way, that opened me to the Panhandle group, opened me to the Mississippi guys, opened me to all these clubs down there. And I would really hate for people to not enjoy that experience like I did. And that doesn't mean you have to go to Mudbug down in Morgan City, Louisiana. That might be, hey, I'm part of a group in the Great Lakes, or I'm up in the New York Finger Lakes, or I'm at Lake of the Ozarks, or I'm out in Parker, Arizona, or I'm in Southern California, or I'm up in Eugene, Oregon. I don't care. All right. I would hate for you guys to not have that kind of camaraderie. I'd hate it, because part of the fun is riding with friends and riding with like-minded people. People who like to go fast, people who want to explore, people who want to load up their ski with as much stupid gas cans as they can and go, how far can we go on this damn river? And that is exactly the whole purpose of the Watercraft Journal, is to keep people on the water and having as much fun as humanly possible. That's it. That's why it exists. So that was the big push for the rides. Now, I am going to talk about the ugly side of it, because it's kind of, I kind of poured out my heart about how much I want to encourage everyone to look in and finding a local riding group. One that you might have to drive 4 hours. I'm sorry. You might have to drive a ways to meet up with people. I do. I live in Tennessee. I mean, yeah, we got the Cumberland, we got the Tennessee River, we got some lakes nearby, we got, got Tim's Ford, we got Kentucky Lake, we got water. All right. But with that, the one thing that really saddens me, it really does. I mean, it really does sadden me, is in Florida and in heavy areas. Southern California had it too. There is the most unnecessary rivalries happening. It is staggering. It is staggering, the rivalries. It is so idiotic. My wife has no interest in any of this. She really doesn't. So she's got a really good outside 30,000 foot view of a lot of these things. And she literally looks at some of this rivalry stuff. I show her stuff on Facebook, and she goes, these idiots look like West Side Story. Just going, when you're a jet. I mean, it's so stupid. It is so stupid. And I understand it. There's personalities, and people rub people the wrong way, and there's conflict, and one guy did one dude dirty on a deal, and blah, blah, blah. It all happens. I get it. Guess what? People are messy. Right? People are messy. Dealing with people is a tough gig. It sucks. All right? It sucks. But it's like, if I let the 0.2% of commenters who are like, Kevin's an idiot, Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about, if I let those guys completely overshadow the 99.8% of people who are like, I really appreciate the content you put out, or I really think you're funny, or I really enjoy this, or blah, blah, blah. It'd be ridiculous. I'm like, well, I'm shutting the doors on this thing because there's people who say mean things about me. I don't like it when they say mean things about me. Oh, boy. You can't grow up a red-faced redhead and not be made fun of. There's nothing you can say that I haven't already heard, or that I can't say about myself already. You ain't going to hurt me. So Whoop-de-doo. So I'm really surprised at the vitriol. I get it. Some people are like, well, we want to be a drag race club. Okay, cool. Go be a drag race club. That doesn't mean you have to be it doesn't mean that you have to be contrarian. Say, listen, our group of people are for people who want to go 80 miles an hour and above. Okay, great. Well, the guy who's like, me and the wife got a pair of GTIs, I don't think that's the right audience for us. Okay, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And if you say, hey, listen, we're a bunch of long-hauled, long-distance guys, and we ride couches, and we stop and barbecue and blah, 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 then maybe the hardcore stand-up dude might be like, that's probably not my group. That's fine. What I'm talking about is we've got this group of riders, and they didn't like one or two guys because they said some mean words. So we're going to break off and make a completely mirrored group, and we're going to go like this. Whoa, shampoo is better. Conditioner is better. No, shampoo is better. Conditioner is better. And that's what you sound like. You sound like Billy Madison. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, and that's what kind of makes things depressing. There were so many people who were trying to make like a national-wide network of rec riders, or we're more rec ride than you are, and we're more hardcore than you, and blah, blah, blah. That's why I didn't want to join. That's why I didn't want to start a club. And that's, to be honest, why last month or December, I said, I'm not doing any more rides because I didn't like the fighting. I didn't like it. It wasn't, dude, there's enough arguing and fighting in the world that it doesn't need to be in my jet ski soup here. All right. You can have it. You can have it. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't care what the drama is. I don't want to hear what the drama is. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't. I really don't. And hopefully most of you don't. All right. Only you can decide who hurts your feelings. So move on. You'll be fine. Okay. So again, the club thing, I want to end it on a positive. The club thing, joining the club, finding the club of like-minded people who like doing the same kind of things that you do will encourage you to go out, because sometimes you can talk yourself out of going out and riding. It happens. Ask me how I know. And you'll find no one ever comes. Well, that's not true. I was going to say, no one ever comes back from a jet ski ride going, I shouldn't have gone. That happens a lot. I've done that too. But I've really met some really good friends and lovely people that, frankly, has improved my view of the world. And it has improved my view of people. And have helped my financial situation, like personal finances. You know what? I found my life insurance policy through a jet ski rider, living will and all that kind of stuff. Because I was looking for a lawyer. Oh, I'll help you out. Okay, great. Really seasoned mechanics, connections that I didn't think I'd have ever, is just by that network and allowing yourself to be part of that group and allow yourself to say, hey, I like to do this. Who wants to do this with me? And I really do advocate finding a group. All right. And back to it, the best thing about a lot of these groups is that if they are very civically minded, you'll do some good deeds and you make the world around you a little bit better. It happens. All right. So let's see. Clubs, monthly rides, barbecues, meets, charities, goodwill, assistance, repair experts, fellowship, friendship, personal counsel, advice, No rivalry or drama. Avoid that crap. I've covered all the topics. Let's answer some questions. I see that we have 0 super chats. So I'm not going to hang on for very long. I'm not seeing a lot. But let's work our way up or work our way down. All right. I'm going to answer a few questions, but I think I'm going to kick out of here in about 15 minutes because I didn't see any super chats. All right. Any rumor news? What brand will come out with their next more horsepower motor? Kawasaki has 310 for how long? And Sea-Doo has 300, and Yamaha still has the 1.8 liter that makes 290 at peak. Only thing they done was went from SHO to SVHO. The changes from SHO to SVHO were actually significant. Far better internal oiling, far better internal oiling and cooling, larger water jackets, under piston oiling. They had priority ion. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Priority oiling to bearings and valve train that was not getting the oiling that they needed. Changes to the HKS supercharger. There were quite a few changes made to the SHO, and then of course they updated the cylinder head castings twice, if I'm not mistaken. So there was some major changes made to the SVHO over the SHO. Everyone says, oh, the SHO or SVHO only makes 255 horsepower. That is mid-band horsepower at peak, and I think it reaches peak at 7,700 RPM. As it feathers into 7,800, you'll see it go just hover around 285. And this is using Riva's DynoJet engine dyno. I've seen the chart on it, and it does just scrape 290 before the ECU pulls it back down and goes, no, none of that. No. And it yanks it back down from 290. All right. But the one thing that's really cool is you look at the torque curve. The torque curve goes whoop and just levels. So the 1.8 liter is really relying on the torque band displacement, all right, more than peak boost. And the Ace 300, the 300 Ace engine, the Sea-Doo engine, will only hit 300 horsepower at 8,040 or 8,060, but over 8,000. And how many times do you see that engine hitting 8,000 RPM? Not a lot before it starts backing off and it does 79.50, 79.80, 79.70. It, flitters around there. So right now, Kawasaki's like, we're good. Right now, Kawai's like, let's make the product better, which they have. And Sea-Doo, they're like, we're not really feeling the pinch of 300 horse not being enough. No one's coming to us going, when are you making 350? Most of them aren't. They're like, they want more stuff. Honestly, guys, I'm not joking, and I don't know how you're going to take this. When I went to the press introduction of the 2022 models for Yamaha, the new product manager said the number one demand was not speed and horsepower. The number one demand was bells and whistles. Big touchscreens, infotainment, syncing with my phone, believe it or not, making phone calls, yada, 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 music, all this kind of fun stuff. And he's like, I'm telling you, it was 2-1. And Jerry and Greg and I were like, what? And he's like, yeah, seriously. 2-1. People want all the people we interviewed in our, that big email that you guys get going, hey, would you like to take the Yamaha survey? Take it. Take the damn survey. If you haven't, if you throw it away, you're a fool, because they listen to that more than anything else. They listen to that and they listen to their dealers. Okay. So tell your dealer what you wish they had and repeat it. Scream it in his face. Grab him by the lapels of his shirt and shake him violently and say, I want more, whatever. I want more horsepower. I want it faster. I want it to shoot missiles. I want the visibility spout to shoot flames instead of water. Whatever. I don't care. But Yamaha listens to its dealers first, and then they listen to that survey. And that survey dictates what the future of the product is going to be. All right? The Jet Blaster exists. The Jet Blaster exists because dealers begged for it, because they wanted something competitive to the ski that won't be named. No, to the Trix. They wanted something competitive because the Trix is a home run. It sells. Every Trix sells. 2-seater, 3-seater, they all sell. With sound, without sound, they all sell. 2 colors, every one of them sells. For whatever reason, the Spark Trix sells every unit. It's bonkers. So the dealer's like, bro, I'm a Yamaha dealer. Give us something to compete with this. And they go, oh, okay. So they made the Jet Blaster. Okay. Oh, we got a super chat. Jet Rider Nation, Georgia. Just broke in a 2022 RX-TX this weekend. 3 hours, the ECU opened up to full speed. Is this normal? I was under the impression it was 5 hours. I broke in a 21 RX-PX last week, and it opened up at 5 hours. Any idea what the difference is? According to all tuners, well, according to Riva and according to Ruthless RX-PX, it still remains at 5 hours. It might appear that it's at 5 hours, but everyone is saying it has not changed. It's still 5 hours for a supercharged 300 ACE engine. So to that point, all I know is that at 5 hours, you have full operation of the map. All right. The map is not opened up or unlocked. There's literal maps. And when I say map, I mean a tune, an engine tune. You know, how much fuel, at what rate, and what the throttle positioning sensor is allowing the throttle to be opened up at. All right. All these things play together. So, and I'm trying to simplify this as much as possible. I know there's engine builders out there who are like, Kevin's an idiot. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to put it in layman's terms. I got guys who don't know what a spark plug is who are listening to this. All right. So I'm trying desperately to not melt their brain. I mean, if you want, we can have that talk. All right. If you want to have that talk, we can have that talk. I'm happy to have it. But anyway, so my understanding is that inside of the factory ECU, there are multiple tunes. The same way that there is a sport mode tune, there is a touring tune, and there is an eco mode tune, which eco mode is the learning key. Remember the learning key, the green learning key? That's eco mode. All right. There is also a break-in mode. Eco mode and the break-in are not the same. They're not the same. All right. That's my what was his name? Comedian Lewis. He'd do the fingers. He's like, he's really funny. Crap. But anyhow, so at 5 hours on the clock, it unlocks. Now I understand that racers, tuners, if it's Riva Racing, JP Racing, Dean's team, Ruthless, any number of tuners can go in there, reflash the ECU, and completely circumvent that 5 hour tune. That's easy. That's done. All right. That's just easy. But that whole 5 hour thing, and not to get into it again, but it's just to break in the engine And quite frankly, excuse me, I've been talking too much. Excuse me. That whole 5-hour thing is to break in the engine and to break in the rider. The 5 to 10 hours thing, that's what the factory recommends. I think it's good, but at 5 hours, I'm hot rodding the damn thing. Me. All right. Is that best practices? Probably not. But that's what most everyone. Like Jerry Gaddis at Green Hulk, he's like, dude, I don't touch that ski until 5 hours is up. He goes, I don't modify those things until 5 hours are up. And most Riva and those guys, they put several hours on it. I'm not talking an hour and a half. They put several hours on it. But then you got racers who are like, screw that noise. All right. I'm drag racing it or I'm offshore racing it. And I'm just going to what's called load cycle. I'm just going to load the hell out of the piston rings and I'm just going to send it. The biggest concern and what a lot of people are like, well, Kevin's video last week is total BS and blah, 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 is the one thing I didn't say, and I know I should have said it, and it's what's biting me in the ass, is guys who know motorcycles know that motorcycle engines typically don't run a ductile steel or ductile iron sleeve in the aluminum block. Rather, they use a nickel plating, and the most common nickel plating is called Nikasil. All right. And I've heard people say Nikasil, but it's not seal. It's S-I-L. Nikasil. Nikasil. All right. And Nikasil was created. It's the same thing with Kleenex, the same thing with Q-tips. It's the same thing. It's one of those brand names that have taken over everything. All right. Nikasil is a nickel plating. It's a hardened nickel plating that is electroplated onto the cylinder. And it was created by Mahle Motorsports. All right. M-A-H-L-E. I only run Mahle pistons in my race engine or in my muscle car engines. If you remember my video that I did talking about the whole break-in process and yada, 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 and I showed that 505 engine with the cylinder head off, those are Mahle pistons. I've known the guys at Mahle Pistons since I was in my 20s, all right? I know the German team. I know the U.S. team. I know the guys at Clevite. I use all Clevite bearings. I'm in with Mahle, all right? And I know Nikasil. Now, have I built motorcycle engines that run, spin 10,000 RPM? No, I've never even put my butt on a Hayabusa in my life. I'm not a motorcycle guy. But I am familiar with the product. The thing is that the 300 Ace engines that have nickel plating, they are not using Nikasil. And they are not using other very proven brands. They are using their own formula of nickel plating. And that formula is inferior. It is inferior. And it's not doing very good. It's not holding up. And I'm telling you, it's not holding up for bone stock, mom and pop, GTX limited 300s. All right. There's pictures that I've been sent from large dealers and service shops who move a lot of product showing failures of it. And they're like, this is for your eyes only. You cannot share this. Do not put this in a video. Don't do anything. If you do, we'll murder you in your sleep. And I'm like, okay, fine. All right. Yeah. Try 14,000 RPM. Dude, I've seen drag bikes. The dudes who race drag bikes blow my mind. They blow my mind. Those guys are bonkers. They have Kevlar shields to keep their junk from being blown off. So, anyways, why I was cautionary, really overcautious about the whole break-in process is because the nickel plating ain't good. Now, what's funny, what I've seen people do is that they'll go in and they'll build a really bitchin' Ace motor. But guess what they do? They hone them out. They're like, well, I want to get a little more displacement out of this. So they'll go to a 2-liter. Well, how do you go to a 2-liter? You got to go to a machine shop and they got to go in there and bore the cylinders out. And then they go, hey, listen, I got to recoat those cylinders. And guess what that machine shop uses? Nikasil. They're not using the Rotax stuff. You capiche? You get it? You get what I'm coming from? Does the crazy Irishman make sense? Okay. Hopefully. All right. Mike Met gave us a super chat, and I totally ignored him. I gotta okay. Let me answer this. Mike Met writes, I am going to receive my 2022 RX-PX on time. I live in Connecticut. I only have a deposit down. Are you wearing a rash guard, or how do I get one? Okay. I'll answer your second question first. This is not a rash guard. This is simply a loose-fitting jersey. It is a high-breathing, UV-protectant, long-sleeve jersey. We have the link at the very top, or you can go to www.watercraftjournal.com/shop. It'll take you right to it, and you'll see it. Now, here's the problem, Mike. We're out of XLs. We're out of the blue XLs. We have large, we've got double X, we've got triple X, we've got smalls, we've got mediums. All right. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, is that as we run out of these blue ones, hopefully this week, we're going to announce 3 new colors, and we're going to let everyone vote on which one is going to be the next one. All right. And we're also going to have more, XLs because we ran out of XLs just super fast. So thank you, Mike. All right. But he also asked, am I going to get am I going to get my RX-PX on time? That's a good question. Right now, I mean, I don't know what the dealership. I can't answer that. It's really hard to answer that. And the way right now is that they're a few weeks late, coming up on a month, but then we're still seeing a small amount or a small percentage of the skis with the tech package. If you got the big screen tech package and the sound system, a lot of those skis are showing up without either an ECU or a dashboard. Some other skis that are, I mean, I've seen a GTX 170 that needed parts. So it is kind of a crapshoot. But what I strongly recommend, okay, Mike, okay, so you ordered the tech package. What I recommend, the best thing I can recommend is if you're local, if you can drive over there, drive over to your dealership, come up to your sales guy and go, hey, man, I got a deposit down. I placed my order whenever. He'll look up your name and number and all that kind of stuff. Or if he remembers you, he'll remember you. And just go, listen, just trying to plan my summer. What's the ballpark you guys are hearing? Yeah, and what do you guys think? You don't have to be hard on them. You don't have to be harsh on them, because I got a dirty little secret. A lot of dealers don't know either. They don't, because sometimes corporate doesn't even know, because there's heavily increased shipping. We have protests by truckers. We have protests. We have trucker protests here in the U.S. We have all these extraneous factors. So corporate's pulling their hair out and having to relay bad news to the dealers, and the dealers are like, what do we do? So then they've got to reach out to their customers and go, okay, so we want you to get your unit. We want you to get your ski, but this is where we're sitting right now. So, are you cool waiting? Are you patient? How can we work with you? So my greatest suggestion is to reach out to your dealer Be understanding because everything sucks right now and it's not their fault. Would you like to talk about how many Fords are sitting on lots, not dealership lots, but in just massive asphalt fields waiting for ECUs? It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And it's across the board. It is absolutely across the board. All right. And there's a very distinct reason for this, and I'm not going to make it political. You guys in the comments can make that political on my behalf. But yeah, I'm telling you, boy, yeah, I strongly recommend you call them tomorrow and just be cool and just say, hey, I'm just calling to get information. Do you guys have any idea? I mean, is there anything I can do? Yeah, which there's nothing you can do. But just be cool. All right. And if the dealer's cool with you, you're going to have a good relationship and they'll treat you good. And they'll be like, Mike, hey, the truck's coming in tomorrow morning. We can have this thing prepped by the weekend. If you want to come on Friday, we're going to set you up. It's going to be great. Or, hey, Mike, the truck came in, but we're waiting on an ECU or we're waiting on a dashboard. Yours is, but you've been really cool with us and we want to get your ski to you. So we're going to give you a call when it happens or whatever. And I've seen that happen with really favorable customers. It happens. It really does. If you're cool, they'll be cool. That's it. All right, let's go back up. I've got another 8 minutes, and then I'm gonna punch out. All right. Let's see here. All right. Trying to find some questions. Brian Wilson. Bright orange for the Sea-Doo? Well, GTIs had orange, but they weren't that bright orange. We're going to do red. Red is kind of across the board. A lot of people like red, regardless if it's Sea-Doo or if it's Yamaha or Cowie. Red's red. All right, Atlas. Dude, you already emailed me. Atlas writes, dude, as you know, I have a deposit on 2 FX SVHOs. After the letter from Yamaha, your video emailed you, I started calling around. Pick 2 FX SVHO cruisers next week. Don't wait; it's going to get bad. Okay, you know what, Atlas? I got to clear the air on something because a lot of people really got. Maybe you only watched like the first 2 minutes of that video, but there's a lot of meat on that bone. First and foremost, Yamaha is not cutting its total production. It's only reducing what is remaining. And we know that Yamaha has been producing Wave Runners for months now. They've been showing up. Okay. So let's think of a round number. All right. Let's say that Yamaha said, we're going to produce 10,000 Yamahas this year, which is a small number. They produce way more than that. Okay. Cowie produces more than 10,000, but I'm just doing a round number. All right. So don't panic and say, Kevin said they're only making 10,000. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just using a round number so we have some easy math. All right. Their announcement said we're cutting 30% of its remaining production run. That is not 30% of the total production run. Because if it was 30% of the total production run, that would mean that Yamaha was producing 7,000 units in my imaginary case scenario here. That is not the case. All right. Let's say that thus far they've produced 5,000 units. So all that's left is another 5,000 units. Well, sorry, I got to answer this. All right. What that means is that if they cut 30% off of that 5,000, that means, we're going to make another 3,500. Okay. So the total comes out to 8,500 units. Well, that's a lot more than 7,000. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. We don't know how many they put out. We don't know how many they put out. And the dealers don't know. And corporate's like, we're not going to talk about that. We don't want this to go worse than, I mean, look at what Facebook's saying. All the Sea-Doo guys are whistling past the graveyard right now. They are absolutely doing a freaking happy dance. Like, ha, 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 ha. Look at this. And it's like, dude, Sea-Doo's got its own freaking trials and tribulations right now. Everyone's trying to work through a totally garbage economy. All right? Build back better. Sorry. Came out. But I got one guy who's telling me, he goes, Kevin, this may equate for a total of a maybe 7% of the total production run. We don't know if they, let's use our imaginary numbers, if they already produced 7,000 units. So 30% of 3,000? Well, dude, that's a fraction of a fraction. You understand what I'm saying? So they put out a very mild announcement. But the problem is that within the hour of that memo going out to dealerships, it was on Facebook and it was on Green Hulk. It was everywhere. The Sea-Doo guys were dancing on air. The Yamaha guys were panicking and freaking out and pulling their hair out of their heads. And I have to put out an article and say it is 30% of the remaining number. All right. And I do a video saying it's 30% of the remaining number. And then I spend 4 minutes after reading the whole thing on air, because I know people don't read. Ugh. People won't read it. They just go, it's all burning down. I spend 4 minutes going, guys, call your dealer. And your dealer probably doesn't have an answer because your dealer just found out about this 2 days before. Because I waited a day and a half to do my video and article. I waited a day and a half. All right. But call your dealer and go, guys, listen, I understand what's happening. Where do I stand? What do you think? What are my chances? What do you think? Do you have anything? And chances are they don't. They're like, crap, this sucks. Because they're losing a percentage of their sales. All right. That's like Burger King. I don't know why I'm using Burger King, but that's like Burger King suddenly being told that, well, you're only going to get 70% of the meat that you've purchased for the week. So they go, well, crap, we better start pushing chicken nuggets. They can't sell Whoppers. But it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's really not. So I'm not terribly freaked out. I'm not sweating it. And I'm telling people not to sweat it. I'm telling them to have an open, friendly dialogue with their dealer. All right? Talk to your dealer. Your dealer might go, bro, I really don't know. And you go, I understand. Everything kind of sucks right now. What are my options? I don't want you to cancel your order if you don't have to. And they very well may say, your name is on the top of my list, or you're in the top 10 of our people who put a deposit down. So that, again, is what I'm trying to convey. I'm trying to put out some good news. I'm trying to put fires out. I'm not going to lie. I tried to have really good intentions when it came to that Yamaha memo, and I tried to help put some honest information out, and it blew up in my face. I had dealerships calling me going, dude, you're screwing us. And I'm like, how? How am I screwing you by telling people be friendly with your dealer and find out where you stand? And they're like, well, we don't have answers. And I go, well, corporate doesn't have answers. And you can tell them corporate doesn't know. But say, hey, we're going to work with you. What can I do to make it better? We want you to get your product. Work with them. You're a salesman. Work with them. Oh, well, okay. I'm like, I'm trying, it's a controlled burn. You guys know what controlled burns are in Forest Service? All right. They burn an area so that the wildfire won't go further and burn down the town, down the hill. That's a controlled burn. I'm trying to do a controlled burn. Anyway, good intentions pave the way to hell. All right, guys, it's a $1.50. We don't have any more super chats, so we're out. All right, guys, thanks again. We are again. We will have the designs for the new jerseys. Hopefully this week. If not, it'll be next week. But help us get the subscriptions up to 19,000, and we'll do a giveaway on a brand new anchor, brand new Sandocker anchor. You'll need it. All right, you got to see the live unboxing. Help us get to 19,000 this week, and we'll give it away next Sunday. Sound fair? Sound good? In fact, we'll give it away to the guys who are in the chat if we get to 19,000. If we get to 19,000 before next Sunday, everyone who's in the chat has a better shot at winning. Because I'll just pick from the chat group. That sounds unfair, doesn't it? All right. Cool. I shouldn't do that. That's not fair to everyone else. That's, it's 19,000 people. We never get 19,000 people watching these things. So, all right. That's not fair. It's got to be for everyone. Let me be fair. I can't favor you guys. Maybe I'll give you guys something else. All right. You know what? I'll give away a jersey. Is that all right? And we're at 19,000. I'll give two things away. At 19,000, we'll give away the anchor, and I'll give away a jersey. Does that sound fair? Life's not fair. Yeah, in the chat. To you guys in the chat, everyone who's in the chat will qualify for if we get to 19,000 before next week, we'll do it. All right, cool. We'll do that. Guys, have a good night. This was fun. Join a club. Be cool. Quit this stupid rivalry crap. You're not that badass. It's ridiculous. All right, guys. Have a good one.